Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for December 30th through January 2nd. Wow, we've come to the end of another year and powerful astrology all the way through. And so let's look at the energy moving into 2023. Well, the main thing we're feeling right now is that we've got Mercury just turned retrograde. So it's kind of like the excitement of a new year, Jupiter moving into Aries, and then it's like, oh, not so fast. This Mercury retrograde is powerful because it's happening. It starts at 24 degrees. So Mercury's at 24 degrees Capricorn and retrogrades back to 8 degrees Capricorn. And so that means 2.5 months or so of Mercury in Capricorn, and so it's like, are you gonna get it? Because Mercury retrograde, Mercury's our mind, our conceptual reality, our perspective, and so Mercury retrograde is always about, learning something new and changing our perspective in order to move forward in a different way. In Capricorn, it's about claiming back our power and our potential from outside energies. So, this is everything right now, and our whole evolution is just kind of distills down to this because Mercury in this retrograde makes three squares with Chiron and Aries. And Chiron and Aries is our deepest wounds around where we've given our power away, where we gave up our life or our life force, our energy, our freedom in order to please the people around us or stay alive. And this is a pattern over lifetimes for supernova souls and for all of humanity. And we're coming to this place, the Aries energy of the final battle, where the organism musters its last strength and brings this power of vitality together to throw off the disease. And this is what we're doing on planet Earth as we claim back our our permission, and claim back our sovereignty. So, Mercury in Capricorn represents where we have allowed our mind to be controlled. We've got propaganda, we got literally mind control, we've got all kinds of seductive advertising and wow, I mean, MK Ultra mainstream for all of us. And so this Mercury and Capricorn is like, if we're going to move forward, we've got to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. And so this is about, and then that square with Chiron, the fight for life, like it's coming down to a life or death place. And it's like humanity just waking up to the fact that they've been completely manipulated and controlled. And then what are we going to do about it? Because we can't let it go on and survive. So really powerful energies. And get this, the main energy today is the Venus Mercury conjunction exact. So Mercury and Venus together just as Mercury turns retrograde. And it's so crazy because Venus is going to take a retrograde this year in July, at the end of July at 28 degrees Leo. And right there, Mercury and Venus will be together as Venus turns retrograde. So it's got this energy of us, of this, and the Venus retrograde, yeah, never fun, but it's in Leo. And it's about the feminine claiming back her permission, her strength, her confidence to be able to shine and express herself. So very, very important. And now she's got a buddy. Mercury is traveling with her. And so it's kind of like feeling that turnaround where there's like just enough support to shift out of those old patterns. And that's where we're at right now. But Venus and Mercury in this beautiful, weird little meeting, and then Mercury is retrograde, and then Venus goes on to conjunct Pluto. Get this on January 1st. Ooh, a very powerful start to the new year with Venus and Pluto. Now, Mercury doesn't make it to Pluto, right? Pluto's at 28 degrees, Mercury goes to 24. And so it won't be until February that Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow and comes back into that conjunction with Pluto. So there's a really powerful connection with this time and then that first couple of weeks of February when Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow, conjuncts Pluto, and also Jupiter comes out of retrograde shadow. So this whole beginning of 2023 is this like gearing up, and yet it's like incremental increases of energy. We won't really feel Jupiter and Aries until Mars turns direct in on January 12th and Mercury turns direct on January 19th. And then we're waiting for those planets to come out of retrograde shadow. Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow February 7th, and Mars comes out of retrograde shadow on March 15th, the Ides of March. So this is kind of these incremental increases of energy and forward motion, and very powerful time as we're coming into that one time of the year with all planets in direct motion. We have one more planet retrograde, our big planet, and this is Uranus. Uranus turns direct on, let's see, I have it here somewhere. I believe the 23rd of January. Yes, the 23rd of January. So, wow. So Mars direct the 12th, Mercury direct on the 19th. Got a new moon in there. The new moon is on the 21st, and then Uranus direct on the 23rd, the ruler of Aquarius. So, with Pluto on his way into the sign of Aquarius in March, like this, and Uranus turning direct, it's just like, all right, it's time to go now. We can't avoid and ignore and hold back the spiritual ascension and the evolution of humanity any longer. Nothing can stop it. It's an organic process that's increasing dramatically. Of course, there's been forces throughout this whole evolution trying to hold back this awakening, and they're running out of moves and they're running out of money. And here we are. What are we going to do? How do we pick ourselves up and build a new world and build a new life out of the rubble of recognizing that everything we've been told is a lie, and how manipulated we've allowed ourselves to become? And that's again what this whole astrology is about. But Mercury and Venus together. Now, you're in a, Neptune is at 22 degrees of Pisces. And so as these planets are coming in, Mercury Mercury slowing down, Venus coming to a conjunction, as they're doing this dance, they're making a sextile with Neptune. So Mercury made a sextile before turning retrograde, then Venus just made a sextile, and then Mercury will have one more sextile with Neptune. And so the Mercury's second and the last sextile here with Neptune is on the 3rd, and the influence of that will go through the 5th. So this whole first week of January and all the way from the 22nd, from just after that solstice moment, we've been in this place of mystical and magical possibilities. And we've got difficult transits going on too, of course, taking us into the darkness, and Mercury turning retrograde, Mars getting to like early degrees of Gemini. They're getting ready to turn direct. But this, we really want to pay attention to the sextile energy of Venus in exact sextile just a couple days ago, with Neptune and Mercury coming up on this next sextile. So this is where we're getting messages about when we can free our mind and free ourselves from the lower conditioning and the lower personality constructs and the programming. Then we can that's the confusion, illusion, delusion energy of the Piscean age. There's a That's part of the energy of the Piscean age where we all got duped, and the energies that sought to have control used spiritual impulse. The energy of feeling connected and spiritual energy used that collective energy of the Piscean age to control humanity. And messages have been coming again and again that we can't get out of the Piscean age until we got to heal the trauma and drama and like get our addiction to that shit, and clear out uh, whatever implants, programming, past life issues, contractual arrangements that keep us there. But we also have to reclaim the magic of the Piscean age, which is this mystical spiritual revelation, miracles. And I'm telling you, we are ripe for some miracles, and they're happening because the only way we get out of this mess is with miracles. And we have a health crisis beyond what we can imagine. And yet, the energy of this Christ consciousness being reborn, the anchoring in of this new divine timeline, Jupiter moving over into Aries. And yeah, we're not quite feeling it yet, but we're kind of feeling that anticipation growing for this next chapter. And that life force giving us the energy that we need for these miracles. And this is really what, when we're looking at the last shift of ages, when Yeshua, the story of Yeshua, Jesus coming into light body, we're just beginning to understand the Christ mysteries. It's so beyond what the interpretation we've been given by religious establishment. And we have to when we're if we're going to go back and reclaim the magic that was sprouting and blooming and being born on the planet at the last shift of ages, then that includes miracles and revelations. And are you ready, supernova soul, to be a direct conduit of this energy? Because it's what you came here for. And because it's not just Mercury and Venus sextiling up with Neptune 22 degrees. We've got Saturn at Aquarius right in the middle at 22 degrees Aquarius. And so these planets are all lining up at 22 degrees. And Mars, Mercury, and Venus making these three sextiles. It's like ding, 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 the ringing of the bells. It's like changes on the horizon, a new energy is coming. And it has to do, and when planets line up like this in sextiles and semi-sextiles, that's like semi-sextile is 30 degrees, one sign apart, sextile, two signs apart. So you've got these Mercury and Venus, Saturn at 22, Neptune at 22, at the very end of the zodiac. And that always has an energy of activation of a light body, of coming into the more full potential of human consciousness. And so the messages here are so powerful because Saturn at 22 degrees Aquarius, 22 is a master builder number. Now, Saturn had a retrograde, right? It's direct now. So this is its third time over 22 degrees. And Neptune as well is now direct. And 22 is about building a whole new world, a whole new structure, portal into a whole new reality. And that is done by activating into our higher potential and dropping these old stories. But we've been so much focused on that old. And now we've really got to turn our gaze to the new because Pluto's on its way to Aquarius. March 23rd, Pluto only makes it to 0 degrees, but still, it's like a massive shift for humanity. And so we are preparing for this and everything is speaking. So that makes Saturn at 22 degrees Aquarius for its third and final run over this place about our role in the Aquarian age. And this is saying that it's freeing ourselves from all conditioning, lower personality constructs, and everywhere we're loyal to outside energies. Because we're coming into what we're being asked to do in this expansion and this enlightenment ascension is to yoke ourselves with God consciousness, coming back into an absolute union, the divine bridal chamber, the joining of ourselves back with God consciousness, but with our individuality intact. This is the journey of the human soul and the human evolution. And so we are forging our way back to this union. Now, so much of this has been coming up over the whole month of December. Oh my gosh. We have been feeling Black Moon Lilith in Cancer and the deepest, darkest hidden mysteries and garbage around the wound of separation, our delusion of separation from source and from the mother, from being cared for, from our interconnectedness to life, to the earth, to each other. And so Now, Black Moon Lilith is they're just 1 degree out of exact opposition, and we'll feel it all the way, almost all the way through January, this opposition. But it's shifting because Black Moon Lilith is at 29 degrees Cancer, and Black Moon Lilith will move over into Leo um, on the first week of January. And so, but at these last degrees through the end of the year, Black Moon Lilith at the very end degrees of Cancer, in this bloom of all the feelings we've been feeling. Now, of course, we know that these big transits we don't always feel in our everyday life until our personal planets come into them, and that's where Venus comes in. Venus having that go around, beautiful mystical possibilities. Mercury will see you in July. Good luck on your retrograde. And then Venus now coming into this exact conjunction with Pluto on January 1st. And then on the 3rd, an exact opposition with Black Moon Lilith. So Venus is our deepest insecurities, vulnerabilities, what we love, what we need, what we hate, just everything that is closest to our heart. And so Venus going up against a man, meeting up with Pluto, gaining her power, owning her power. And then in this opposition with Black Moon Lilith, facing how we got here, how we accepted humanity in this whole bigger play of things. We accepted our disconnectedness. We allowed our spiritual leaders to be persecuted, and we gave away our power. And this has been the whole thing with this Black Moon Lilith opposite Pluto. It's like, this is how we got into this mess. We gave away our connection. We bought into the delusion of separation, and therefore we became controlled by outside forces. So Venus is like going up against these outside forces and then coming into this opposition with Black Moon Lilith, and it could bring up some deep insecurities and vulnerabilities, depending on how this affects your chart, but for all of us. But what an interesting way to move into the new year, especially with the Venus retrograde this summer, rewriting the story of the feminine in Leo. Venus retrograde this summer is about the feminine coming back into her expression and shining her light. And Mercury is her helper, saying, never going to happen as long as we stay in these chains of programming and conditioning and allowing our psyche to be controlled. This is the everyday energy right now. We're in this huge bloom of drama and trauma, and uh, everything is trying to keep us distracted from what we really want to be doing this time of year. This is an incredibly spiritual time of year, available for deep peace. If you wanted to check out, you can still, it's we're still in the holy nights. They go to Epiphany on January 6th, and anytime during this, it's a beautiful time to do meditations, a year-end review. And so check out the Holy Nights of Peace meditations. It's a 12 recorded meditation series to follow along with each month of the year, each zodiac sign, and review the last month of the year of 2020 and prepare and vision and feel into the energies of 2023. Incredibly powerful exercise. So this time of year is about peace and presence and this place in between and owning this. And we've got to claim this peace. Everything right now on every level is like working through everyone and everything around us, trying to hook us in to the drama stories of what's playing out in the world. And we cannot let this happen. And this is where it's like, I know I say again, we got to take back our power. It's like, how do you do that? Well, our power is really reflected in our attention. And wherever our attention goes, attraction goes, right? And so we've got to start to recognize that we've been absolutely manipulated through technology and our emotions. Like, we have to pretty much rewrite and rebuild our glandular emotional trigger system. It's been so traumatized through these electromagnetic frequencies and mind control techniques through television for years beyond what we can imagine. These have been going on for so long. And so now, though, the energy is coming in that is helping us recognize. and take control over our own biological system and our own emotional system. And you start this just by slowing down before you react. It's okay to want to react. We don't want to suppress, right? Just slow down. And then it's really great at this time of year to have a project, a creative project, something to put your energy into. Also, preparation, cleaning, organizing, getting ready for the speed that's coming this spring. But go ahead and find a few things that you really like to think about. And then set a little sticky note in your consciousness that whenever you start to be pulled off into the weeds, just say, oh, I'm going to exercise my will, my spiritual discernment, my power by putting my attention on something that makes me smile. We don't even know how to smile anymore. Our natural state and our alignment, and when your spine is in alignment, it's a smile. And now we have to put effort into it because they've stolen our joy because they feed on our misery. And this is what we've got to do. Take back that joy. And what a perfect time of year to reset. And the other thing about this time of year is that supernova souls really find themselves, what's coming up in this holy night meditations. I can just feel it in the group. It's just this like regret over not living a more spiritual life. How many times have you been in situations where it's like you're just hanging out because you need some sort of social interaction, then you're getting sick from the people around you, and you're dealing with a whole bunch of small talk that you don't give a shit about, and it's like, "Can we just stop and meditate and pray and sing and, like," you know? It's time for you to make space and allow and claim and proclaim your right to a spiritual existence. This is who we really are, and the big grief for supernova souls is, like, we're living a life that's, like, just doesn't reflect the truth of who we are. We go and we do all this work on other planes, we get all this insight, we do get readings and stuff. But if we can't implement that, if we can't start living these truths that we've been talking about, then we're never going to get anywhere. And this is exactly what this Jupiter moving over the Aries point on the solstice is really about: anchoring in, rebirthing as who we really are, and anchoring into our body, anchoring into this life, anchoring into consciousness, that bigger spiritual self. And that's exactly the same definition of this divine timeline. It's what I've been shown. It's the same thing. You landing home as a bigger truth and self as who you are is exactly the same as the landing home of the divine timeline. It's pretty powerful. I know supernova souls are feeling this combination of just like all the stuck feelings coming back up in this weird in between time, and yet fear and trepidation of what's coming because you can sense the movement. And so we really do want to. We talked about this Mars retrograde being a time of reinitiation, remembering, and preparation. And we're coming to the last couple of weeks of this as Mars turns direct on January 12th. We've got a full moon in Cancer on Friday, January 6th. There's a live activation for that. I hope you'll consider joining that live activation to celebrate this Cancer full moon. This Cancer full moon will be in a sextile relationship to Uranus at 15 degrees Taurus. And that will put the sun in a trine. Really sweet energies of like, yeah, well, healing that wound of separation, coming back into allowing yourself to be loved, to come back into connection to source is the only way we're going to be able to receive the abundance of our higher intuitive knowledge and wisdom, the gifts and abundance and skills and amazing talents that supernova souls have. How can we receive our own blessings if we don't feel worthy or connected? So it's like just the astrology is playing out incredible stories for us and so powerful. I'm so glad that we're here together during these incredibly potent times. Now, the main other energy we're feeling is the sun is just today. We're starting to feel the sun coming into a square with Chiron. We had a little break from the square energy, and we're just in this weird time in between in the holy nights and this transition into a new year. And right at the new year here, the sun in square to Chiron on the 2nd. And we'll feel the influence of that through the 5th, which is the same as the influence of the sextile with Neptune, Mercury, Neptune. So, really powerful combination of dynamic transits that are pushing us into this new reality. Sun square Chiron. Also, we got Venus, Pluto, and opposite Black Moon Lilith and Sun square Chiron. So this is saying what this new year is about. And it so fits because 2023, 2 and 3 make 5. And that's like the spoke on the wheel. It's movement, it's go time. And so this is giving us the flavor of what we're going for. And we've got the feminine standing up to the power, external power, and coming back into her connection to source, mother, love, and being able to receive that Black Moon Lilith Pluto opposition. And then Sun, who we think we are in Capricorn. This is about where we've been leaders and where we've dealt with external authority that has been damaging. In square to Chiron in Aries, just turned direct, still at 11 degrees, the number of battle facing off. And so it's saying that the outside, we've got to free ourselves from outside authority. It's the same story. And Sun Square Chiron is dropping all of the personality constructs and the stories that continue to keep us enslaved. And we're just sorting through all of this, and it's another squeeze here. We've had that Sun Jupiter square at solstice, and now moving into the new year, Sun square Chiron. It's like you can't go into the new and be who you were in the old. It just won't happen. So, massive, powerful, these transits on the very beginning of the year are saying it's a whole new year ahead, and a whole new year and a new world. And we got this message about the solstice and this time of year of like this Jupiter in Aries. If you want it, you can step through this portal into a whole new reality and start existing on a completely different plane right here. It's so much easier to hold your space, to hold your soul's connection to your body, to hold your vibrational energy and not be distracted and distorted and triggered in the trauma drama stories. And so this requires a lot of self care. And of course, this is coming up with this full moon in this beautiful relationship to Uranus and Taurus, taking care of ourselves enough to receive this abundance of who we really are, our capabilities, abilities, gifts, and skills as higher evolved humans. We've already done it. It's nothing new. We don't need to uh, claim it. We need to claim it back. And we don't need to be scared of it. So we just need to allow it on to unfold and step out of the fear programming that ultimately that's what's kept us in control. When you're in interconnectedness and you feel connected to source, fear has no place. So this is the big transition that we're in right now. Incredibly powerful astrology coming up to this full moon in Cancer on the 6th. So I wanted to let you know that supernova souls, you're so awesome and powerful, and it's such an honor for me to be here and offer any support and facilitation that I can. And I wanted to let you know, though, that I'm making a change for this year. I'm only going to be doing one YouTube update on Mondays, one live update for the whole month. This is no longer going to be the Gaia Daily, but a supernova astrology update as we build this supernova enterprises together. So the second video update is available on the membership group. It's $10 a month for the Supernova Soul Tribe membership group. I've got this set up on a brand new platform and it's running really smooth. And I hope you'll consider joining. The information to join is in the information box below. So if you want next Friday's video, you're going to have to be a part of the membership group. And so the membership group includes a weekly update video where I can go deeper into the concepts for supernova souls than on the YouTube video. Then every month we're going to be doing a live Q&A, and you can also access the replays of live Q&As from the past. There's also a forum, really well laid out and organized forum with all of the main issues and key points of supernova souls that you sent me in the survey, if you answered the survey of the number one question for supernova souls. So we can really start discussing and talking about these things and helping each other. We can also start finding each other in our locations and this be able to talk to each other through this program. So I hope that you'll consider joining. There's also 22 podcasts, really supportive for the Supernova Soul and Supernova courses. The Supernova Soul course, Supernova Soulmates course, and self care for the Supernova Soul to help you in those times of need. So I'm also starting a Supernova Gold membership. If you don't want to miss an activation and you've been really involved in the live activations, this membership is for you. It's $20 a month and it includes access to the new and full moon activations, as well as live sharing circles after these activations. So the information to sign up for these two different tiered membership groups are in the information box below. So happy New Year, Supernova Souls, and thank you so much for being with me and for all the support that you've given me and for the energetic support showing up and growing this movement. And I hope that we can stay connected. Look out for information coming in January around supernova live events. So thanks so much for being with me. And I hope to see you at that live activation for the Cancer full moon on January 6th, Epiphany Day. Very powerful to come together and celebrate, especially if you've been following along with these holy nights of peace. And I look forward to seeing you there at that activation or the next date. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.